BMW is known for luxury and precision, but not every engine delivers. Some drain wallets, others last decades. Today we're breaking down the 3 worst and 4 best BMW engines. Number 3 on the worst list is an engine BMW fans once praised, but now mechanics call a ticking time bomb. Let's get into it. Number 3, the Heartbreaker N54 3.0-liter twin-turbo Y6. When BMW unveiled the N54 in 2006, enthusiasts celebrated. It was the company's first mass-produced twin-turbocharged inline-six, delivering smooth power and a broad torque curve that felt revolutionary compared to the naturally aspirated engines BMW was known for. In the 335i, 135i, and even the early Z4, this motor transformed the driving experience. Tuners loved it too. A simple tune could unlock massive horsepower gains. For a brief moment, the N54 looked like it would be remembered as one of BMW's all-time greats. But then, reality set in. The first problem that hit owners hard was the high-pressure fuel pump. These pumps failed so often that BMW was forced to extend the warranty. When they died, the car wouldn't start, or worse, it would stall in traffic. Then came the turbocharger issues. Wastegates rattled and wore out prematurely, leaving owners with expensive turbo replacements that BMW wasn't always willing to cover. On top of that, the N54's direct injection system caused carbon to build up on intake valves, leading to misfires, rough running, and costly cleaning jobs. For the average driver, this meant endless check engine lights, frustrating trips to the dealer, and repair bills that piled up quickly. For the enthusiast crowd, it was bittersweet. Yes, the N54 could make huge power and embarrass cars twice its price, but the constant reliability headaches took the shine off the experience. Many who bought into the hype early walked away feeling burned. Think of it like the iPhone 6. At launch, it was sleek, modern, and exciting, the must-have piece of tech. But as time went on, flaws started showing. Batteries aged poorly, the screens bent, and software updates slowed them to a crawl. The N54 followed that same path. Revolutionary when new, frustrating, and problematic as it aged. Number 2, the diesel ticking time bomb, N47/N57. In Europe, diesel BMWs were supposed to be the perfect answer to high fuel prices. The N47 and its bigger brother, the N57, were pitched as efficient, torque-rich engines that could deliver highway mileage without sacrificing performance. For a while, they did just that. Models like the 120D, 320D, and X3 sold like hotcakes, earning BMW plenty of fans who wanted the blend of luxury and frugality. But hidden beneath that efficiency was a flaw so serious, it turned these engines into what mechanics now call a ticking time bomb. The culprit was the timing chain. Instead of being placed at the front of the engine for easy access, BMW buried it at the back, right up against the firewall. That meant when the chain stretched or wore down, the entire engine had to come out just to replace it, and these chains wore out far too soon. Owners often heard a rattling noise on startup, a warning that disaster was on the way. Ignore it, and the chain could snap, destroying the engine in an instant. But the pain didn't stop there. The N47 and N57 were also known for turbocharger problems. Drivers who enjoyed the diesel's strong torque often pushed the engines hard and the turbos couldn't keep up. Add in exhaust gas recirculation, EGR, clogging, and carbon buildup, and these diesels went from ultimate driving machine to ultimate repair bill in a hurry. For many unlucky owners, catastrophic failure arrived well before the odometer hit 100,000 miles. Think of it like buying a Rolex that stops ticking after a year. It looks premium, it feels premium, and when it works, it's fantastic. But when the heart of the watch dies, all that money spent is gone. That's the story of the N47 and N57, a gamble that left too many BMW diesel owners on the losing end. Number 1, the money pit, N63 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8. When BMW launched the N63 in the late 2000s, it seemed like a dream come true. A twin-turbocharged V8 that promised silky smooth power, endless torque, and the kind of performance numbers that would embarrass rival luxury sedans. On paper, this engine was supposed to be the crown jewel of BMW's lineup, the motor that would put the 550i, 750i, and early X5 and X6 models in a league of their own. But for owners, that dream turned into a financial nightmare. The first major problem came with the timing chain. Instead of lasting the life of the engine, these chains stretched and wore prematurely. When that happens, the engine doesn't just run rough, it can completely fail. On top of that, valve stem seals on the N63 had a bad habit of wearing out quickly. leading to clouds of smoke out the exhaust and oil consumption so bad that some owners carried spare quarts in the trunk. Imagine paying luxury car money only to babysit the oil gauge like you own an old beater. And we haven't even talked about the turbos. Mounted in a hot V setup right between the cylinder banks, they cooked under constant heat. The result? Turbo overheating, oil coking, and failures that left many BMWs stranded. Owners often faced repair bills that easily hit $10,000, sometimes before the car even crossed 100,000 miles. BMW eventually launched the N63 customer care package, which quietly admitted the engine was riddled with issues. Dealers replaced batteries, injectors, and timing chains for free, but it wasn't enough to erase the N63's reputation as a ticking wallet bomb. Owning this engine is like dating someone glamorous but toxic. It looks fantastic on the outside and turns heads everywhere you go. But under the surface, it's full of drama, heartbreak, and bills you never planned on paying. For enthusiasts who want reliable performance, the N63 is a cautionary tale. Sometimes complexity kills. So, those are the engines that'll keep mechanics busy and your wallet empty. But BMW isn't all heartbreak. Some of their engines are so good, they've achieved near-mythical status. Let's shift gears and look at the 4 best BMW engines you can buy. Number 4. The high-rev legend, S54 3.2-liter Y6. If the M54 was the dependable everyday classic, the S54 was its wild, high-strung sibling. Found in the legendary E46 M3, this 3.2-liter inline-six quickly earned a reputation as one of the greatest performance engines BMW has ever built. With 333 horsepower in US trim and a redline that screamed past 8,000 RPM, the S54 brought motorsport DNA straight to the street. The soundtrack alone made it iconic, with an exhaust note that still gives enthusiasts goosebumps 2 decades later. The magic of the S54 lies in how alive it feels. Below 3,000 RPM, it's civilized enough for daily commuting. But once you push past the mid-range, the engine transforms, surging forward with urgency and pulling hard all the way to redline. That high-revving nature makes every gear change an event, and the car feels more connected to the driver than most modern performance machines ever could. It wasn't just fast, it was emotional, rewarding, and raw in all the right ways. Of course, being a motorsport-inspired engine, the S54 is more complex than something like the M54. It demands careful maintenance, especially when it comes to rod bearings and Vanos components. Neglect it, and the repair bills will remind you this is not your average inline-six. But when properly cared for, the S54 proves remarkably durable, with countless examples still running strong at high mileage today. For many enthusiasts, that trade-off is more than worth it. Owning an S54 is like owning a piece of motorsport history. It rewards passion with an experience few engines can match. The sound, the response, and the thrill of pushing it to redline create a bond between driver and machine that numbers on a spec sheet simply cannot capture. That is why the E46 M3, powered by the S54, remains one of the most sought-after BMWs ever built. Number 3. The balanced classic, M54 3.0-liter N AI6. In the early 2000s, BMW was still building cars that balanced modern refinement with old-school engineering simplicity. The M54 engine, found in cars like the E46 330i and the E39 530i, is one of the best examples of that philosophy. It didn't rely on turbos, it didn't chase extreme performance numbers, and it wasn't overcomplicated. Instead, it delivered smooth power, bulletproof reliability, and the kind of character that kept owners smiling long after the new car shine wore off. What makes the M54 so special is how well-rounded it is. With around 225 horsepower, it has enough strength to make a 3 Series or 5 Series feel lively, but it never feels like it's straining. The throttle response is crisp, the engine note is warm and familiar, and the power band is linear from idle to redline. Daily driving feels effortless, while a weekend backroad run feels rewarding. That blend is rare today, where engines are often tuned either for efficiency or pure speed, with little middle ground. Another reason for the M54's reputation is its durability. These engines regularly cross 200,000 miles with nothing more than routine maintenance. Even when they develop common issues like oil leaks from valve cover gaskets or cooling system wear, the fixes are relatively inexpensive compared to modern BMW engines. Parts are plentiful, and because so many were built, aftermarket support is huge. Enthusiasts can find performance upgrades easily, while everyday owners benefit from a steady supply of affordable replacement components. You can think of the M54 as your favorite pair of jeans. It isn't flashy or cutting edge, but it is dependable, comfortable, and it always feels right when you put it on. 20 years later, people still praise the M54 because it captures what BMW ownership should feel like: enjoyable, reliable, and just a little bit special. For anyone shopping for an older BMW, a well-kept M54 powered car remains one of the safest bets in the lineup. Number 2. The everyday hero, N52 3.0-liter NAI6. If the B58 represents BMW's modern redemption, the N52 is the workhorse that quietly kept the brand's reputation alive during the 2000s. Found in models like the E93 28i, the 128i, and early X3s, this naturally aspirated inline-six engine was built with a simple formula. No turbos, no gimmicks, just smooth and reliable performance. At a time when many automakers were rushing toward forced induction, the N52 stuck with tradition, and that choice paid off for thousands of owners. Driving a car with the N52 feels honest. It doesn't overwhelm you with crazy horsepower, but it delivers a steady and refined driving experience that fits perfectly for daily use. The throttle response is immediate, the engine note is classic BMW straight-six music, and the smoothness of the power delivery makes even mundane commutes enjoyable. Owners often describe it as an engine that simply gets the job done, year after year, mile after mile. Part of its reputation comes from its dependability. Without turbos to fail, there are fewer high-stress components to worry about. Routine maintenance keeps the N52 running well past 200,000 miles, making it one of the most dependable modern BMW engines you can buy. Enthusiasts may not brag about it at car meets, but long-term owners know it is the kind of engine that lets you enjoy BMW ownership without constantly checking your bank account for the next big repair. You can think of the N52 as the Toyota Camry of BMW engines. It is not flashy, it is not the fastest, but it is faithful and dependable. It will not leave you stranded, and it gives you the confidence to enjoy your car without the fear of catastrophic failure looming in the background. For buyers looking at older BMWs, this engine is a safe bet. It is proof that sometimes the best choice is the simplest one. Number 1. The modern marvel, B58 3.0-liter Turbo 1.6. After years of struggling with turbocharged engines that promised the world but often left owners with headaches, BMW finally got it right with the B58. This engine arrived in the mid-2000s and instantly felt like the redemption arc the brand needed. Found in cars like the modern 340i, the Z4, and even the Toyota Supra, the B58 quickly proved that BMW could still build a turbocharged engine that balanced performance, reliability, and everyday usability. The magic of the B58 comes from how refined it feels. Unlike the N54 and N55 before it, which were powerful but plagued with weak points, the B58 is smooth and consistent. It produces strong horsepower and torque across the rev range, giving drivers effortless acceleration whether they are merging onto the highway or blasting down a back road. At the same time, it manages to be efficient enough for daily driving. You get the thrill of a performance engine without having to pay for it at every fuel stop. What really sets the B58 apart is how well it handles tuning. Car enthusiasts love an engine that can be pushed beyond factory numbers, and the B58 delivers on that front. With only modest upgrades, owners can achieve impressive power gains without sacrificing reliability. That balance has made it a favorite among tuners and everyday drivers alike. It is almost as if BMW studied the failures of the N54 and N55 and designed the B58 as the answer to all of those problems. Think of the B58 as BMW's comeback story. If the N54 was the troubled first draft and the N55 was a patch job, the B58 is the polished final product. It is like a star athlete who fumbled early in their career but came back stronger and smarter. For BMW, this engine restored faith among enthusiasts who had grown skeptical. If you are considering a modern BMW, the B58 is the kind of engine you actually want under the hood. There you have it, the 3 worst and 4 best BMW engines. Avoid the N63, N47, and N54, but seek out the B58, N52, M54, or iconic S54. Choose wisely, maintain well, and enjoy miles of driving pleasure. If you like this breakdown, subscribe, like, and share this with a friend. This is Vroom Diagnosis. Thanks for watching and drive smart.